Hello, my friends. Let's start with the news that has once again been confirmed. In the near future, with Donald Trump's inauguration as president, the White House will push Ukraine to sit down at the negotiation table with Russia. According to the Washington Post, the White House has acknowledged that in the coming months, Ukraine will be pressured into negotiations with Russia and forced to concede territory. In light of this, as reported by the media, Joe Biden has abandoned previous caution by approving Ukraine's use of attack arms on Russian territory and supplying anti personnel mines, which are banned in most countries worldwide. US officials believe that the attack arms will deter North Korea from sending additional troops, while the mines will help stop the Russian advance in the east. These urgent measures by the White House aim to strengthen Ukraine's position in negotiations. As a result, the Russians are rushing to seize as much territory as possible, while European countries remain opposed to having Russia move closer to their borders. Before Trump applies significant pressure on Europe to halt its support for Ukraine, European leaders continue to emphasize their commitment to standing by Ukraine. Foreign ministers of G7 nations issued a statement expressing unwavering support for Ukraine, condemning Russia's use of a medium range ballistic missile on November 21st as further evidence of reckless and escalatory behavior. Support for Ukraine continues, but will it be enough to mount the counteroffensive promised by General Syrskyi? We'll find out soon. Reports have surfaced that several dozen Storm Shadow missiles have been delivered to Ukraine, and new strikes on Russia are expected soon. The key question remains: will the number of these missiles be sufficient to actively destroy Russian military targets? For now, Ukrainian drones continue striking inside Russia. Last night, strikes on an oil refinery were reported in Bashkortostan. In addition, today we have the results of a survey of ending the war. 39% of Ukrainians believe victory in the war should mean restoring the country's 1991 constitutional borders, regardless of the cost. Meanwhile, 64% think negotiations to freeze the fighting should begin due to significant losses. Friends, what do you think? Share your opinion in the comments. Meanwhile, the battle on the front lines continue and the situation remains extremely tense. Let's begin with the Kursk direction. Here, the Russian forces haven't demonstrated significant activity so far, and the front line remains unchanged. However, shelling of the Sumy region persists without pause. In contrast, and there has been a sharp deterioration in the Kharkiv direction. Russian forces have begun advancing in a new area. Today, attacks continue on the village of Kozacha Lopan, and Russian forces have managed to push towards the village of Kudivka. Fighting has also been reported on the outskirts of the village. There is a possibility that Russian forces might attempt a breakthrough to Kozacha Lopan and then move along the railway, similar to their strategy in Avdiivka, potentially heading towards Kharkiv. However, their plans in this area remain unclear for now. It's possible they are simply trying to show activity to widen the front line and stretch Ukrainian armed forces resources. Meanwhile, battles in Vovchansk area persist, but there have been no significant changes there as of now. In the Kupiansk direction, the Russians have also ramped up the activity, launching offensive operations near the village of Novomlinsk. While there have been no recent changes along the front line, Russian forces managed to make some advances in this area earlier this week. We'll monitor closely to see how the situation unfolds. Around Kupiansk itself, the situation has stabilized for now, with no new breakthroughs by Russian forces. However, further south, fighting continues near Kolesnikivka, where Ukrainian armed forces are successfully repelling all attacks. In the Borova direction, the situation remains highly challenging. The Russians are pushing through towards Sinkove. Simultaneously, battles are ongoing for control of Zaporizhzhia, as well as assaults on Nova Kruhlякivka and Lozova. Additionally, heavy fighting persists in Zeleny High. Further south, Russian forces are attacking Kharkivka and advancing toward Novosergiyevka. As for the village of Kopanki, there is currently no new information. In the Krymina direction, the Russians continue their assaults on Yampolivka, attempting to expand their controlled territory near Torske. However, over the past day, they have made no progress, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Siversk direction, the Russians are showing no significant activity. Instead, they are building up reserves in preparation for future offensives. For now, the situation remains stable and unchanged. In the Chasiv Yar direction, intense battles for the city are ongoing. The Russians are also attempting to break through in Stupochke, but for now, the front line remains stable without any changes. In the Toretsk direction, fighting continues for control of Sherbynivka, Toretsk, and Krymsk. Shalon persists in this area, but no new developments have been reported over the past day. In the Pokrovsk direction, the Russians are assaulting Myrolюбівка, Promeny, Lysivka, Dachinske, and further south, intense battles are taking place for Petrivka, Pustinka, and Pushkine. The most critical situation is near Shevchenko, where Russian forces are making active attempts to break through. If they succeed, the situation for Pokrovsk could worsen significantly. In the Kurakhove direction, the Russians are aggressively advancing along the entire front line. They are attacking both from the north and south, attempting to move closer to the road leading to Kurakhove to align the front line in this area. The big question remains, where will they move next? From this position, Dnipropetrovsk region is only 11 kilometers away. In the area of Velika Novosilka, Shalin continues, and the Russians persist in their attacks near the village of Novodaryevka and Rivnopil. However, there have been no new developments over the past day. But considering the rapid advances made by Russian forces here in recent days, the situation remains dire. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the Russians are only assaulting Novoandriivka, otherwise there is no significant activity and the front line remains unchanged. The anticipated large-scale Russian offensive has yet to materialize. In the Kherson direction, the Russians continue the attacks on the islands and Shalon of the right bank. However, the situation remains unchanged here as well. And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.